Welcome back to the Trophy Horror Fest, my fellow Platinum Hunters, Trophy Hunters, and YouTube watchers. Today, we take on the Remothered series. First up, Remothered Tormented Potters. Then we'll take on Remothered Broken Porcelain later. Apparently there's a trilogy planned, but the dev said he is no longer progressing the story, which is too bad. My expectations for the game were super low in the beginning. It kind of just looked bland and boring, but both of these games were on sale, and when you're doing 31 plus games for a month, you have to take what you can get. However, they're actually a lot of fun, and I'm glad I got to experience these games. Apparently they are heavily inspired by the Clockwork games, which I've never played them, but I'm pretty sure I saw a speedrun of one of the games on Twitch one time. Anyway, let's get into the game as we play as Rosemary Reed, a real go-getter and troublemaker. We have a nice old cancer stick when we pull up, and now it's time to get into it for real. There's a total of 19 collectibles in this game, so just make sure you're looking around at everything. And we'll pop the trophy when we get to the last collectible to obtain. If I remember to add this to the collectibles, I will do that. There are only a total of 10 trophies in this game, and honestly, this game is not too long, especially if you know what you're doing and where you are going. I'm sure you could knock this out in like an hour. If you were following a guide, I think it took me around 3 hours with no guide. We enter the residence and walk through some beautiful flowers and knock on the door, and we're greeted by the nurse, who unlocks the first trophy, the arrival. The nurse working gives us the rundown that she takes care of Mr. Felton during the morning and his wife takes care of him at night. She also starts talking shit about us smoking, but hey, we gotta do hot girl shit. We finally make it up the stairs to talk to Mr. Felton. Then we go full on detective on this man and start asking questions about the missing child and harassing this poor man until the nurse kicks us out. After we get kicked out, we wait outside for the nurse to leave, we break into the house, and we get another trophy, disappearance. Like I said, we gotta do hot girl shit, and that's breaking and entering. We grab some diversions. You can use these to throw and stun the enemy, or you can grab a knife for some self-defense items. Trust me, you are going to need it. Now, we just follow the music upstairs. Apparently his wife just listens to the same song over and over again on repeat. I can relate to that. Honey, I'm home. Miss Felton, what's going on with your husband, Mr. Felton? He seems like he's a crackhead. And all I want to know is where your missing child is. I don't know why we care so much. Which, honestly, you don't really find out why you care so much till the next game. Which is crazy. But we come to the sudden conclusion that Mr. Felton has murdered his wife and just left her corpse in the bed like some sick freak. Then we go hide, and then we see this freak go over and creep on his wife. Why does he have a sickle? And why is he wearing an apron naked? What the hell? I have so many questions about this game, and we just started playing. Now, besides showing us this man is armed and dangerous and clearly insane, there's now a new mechanic, which is pretty much, we just need to hide from him. Mr. Felton gives the bad vibe check if Mr. X never worked out and drank his milk. Now, if you have made it this far into the video, if you guys could leave a like and a subscribe, I would appreciate it so much as we continue the Trophy Horror Fest. Hopefully hit 500 subs by the end of the year. That would be amazing. It has been a lot of fun working on these videos and editing these videos and writing scripts, and I'm trying to make my own thumbnails recently. For some of the bigger games, I might hire someone to make the thumbnails. I don't know yet. Just trying to enhance my skills in general for editing and everything. Doing this on my PS5 and making thumbnails on my iPhone. It's rough out here, but we're saving up for a PC. Look at that old man ass, 10 out of 10. Now, I won't lie to y'all, it took me a minute to actually understand like the gameplay loop and like what I was actually doing. Like the whole hiding thing and not being seen. Like if you're running, obviously he's gonna hear your footsteps, but I wasn't like really paying attention to any of that. I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna run around. But he is just kind of like a Mr. X, and if he sees you enter a place, guess what? He is gonna come with that creepy old man face and rip you out of there. Which, I can't remember when this game came out. I'm pretty sure it's like an older game, but it doesn't actually look too bad, and it is a lot of fun. I actually do recommend you guys getting this game. Also, after a while, I was like, I need to turn the brightness up because I cannot see a freaking thing that is going on in this game. You'll also see like a bunch of like jigsaw pieces, and that's just letting you know that there's like different puzzles that you need to solve, and like key items are the jigsaw pieces, but like the things that you need will have like a circle across around them that are like, oh, you need to solve this before you can get in there. I'm not going to go over every single thing here. I'm just going to go over the major story beats. If you do want to see a guide for this game, I'll leave a link in the description for a video that helped me find some of the collectibles on my second run in this game. So, like I was saying earlier, Dr. Felton's just looking around the house for anything. No wonder why his wife got murdered. Dude is clearly insane, and we need to get the fuck out. So, when we go back to the front door, unfortunately it's locked, but it does unlock a new trophy, Trapped. Now, at this point in the game, you just solve a bunch of puzzles, and when you finally get to the point where you can get to his office, we need to start up the projector. After starting up the projector, we find out that they're giving him some type of drug and hypnotizing him and trying to get information from him, asking him about his daughter Celeste, but he said it was not her, it was Jennifer. Then, when they ask who Jennifer is, and they ask him about his relationship with his dad, it sounds like his dad abused the hell out of him. Then, as soon as it's about to keep going, Felton grabs us with some type of choking mechanism and is dragging us around. Of course, he's doing this all while naked, and honestly, how strong is this man to lift us up and hang us up? He's not even struggling at all. Look at that form. This man keeps going on about his life story while his cheeks are just showing.
Some things die and stay dead forever.
We confront him again about the murder of Celeste or her disappearance. Then it makes him lose his mind,
Following her orders.
saying she made him do it, and we ask who she is and reveals a painting of a creepy nurse figure with a goat. I'm guessing there's some devil worshipping going on here. While he's worshipping the painting, this is our time to escape. We finally get out of the trap and run towards the door, and the red nun from the painting busts through the door with a sword, which unlocks another trophy, Nightmare. I also want to show this, like, this game has some pretty brutal death scenes in it. I just wanted to show that. I also love the fact that he runs out like a coward too because he's afraid of the nurse. But now, unfortunately, we have two of them after us. There's him and the nurse. Once we hide and finally can roam around without worrying about dying, after finally losing both the characters, we find an umbrella and we reach the attic. Looks like someone's been living up here. We go check the vanity area and find another collectible that is story related. Then we go searching through the attic and, well, it looks like we found Jennifer or Celeste. Who knows? And she's coming with a fury of rage. Can you just imagine how terrifying this would be? You're surrounded like by a group of mannequins and then somebody just bursts through chasing you like that? Bro, I would cry. This game is good. This game is actually really good. We try and escape, and unfortunately Jennifer or Celeste or whoever this is knocks us out, and we wake up in a different room.
My things are mine. You mustn't.
That photo in the loft. What happened to that door?
Richard made it disappear. He doesn't want anyone to go in.
What do you mean?
That door no longer exists. There is now a wall. A wall behind the fireplace.
With that being said, now we know where we need to head to. We go through the fireplace to find the hidden area. We knock down the wall and we find Celeste's room. Now we're in Celeste's room. We need to destroy all the mirrors here for another trophy. There's an infinite amount of throwables here, so if you miss, it's not a big deal. I think there's a total of 7 mirrors that you need to break, which will give us our next trophy, Mirror Breaker. For a visual cue, you'll know if you got all the mirrors if the moths come flying out of them. Now we find a hidden tape recorder that Celeste's saying that there's a hidden exit behind the dresser. So we go through that and we're trying to escape, but of course the floor gives out and we end up in some type of sewer system? But hey, we do unlock another trophy, Violence. In the sewers, you have a bunch of QTEs to avoid dying. I can't tell you how many times I got murdered here. I don't know what happened, if I just did the buttons, but this was the hardest part of the game for me, was just doing that. And yeah, if you miss them, you automatically die. Thankfully, I mean, the checkpoint system is pretty gracious. You just start back in the beginning of the sewers, which the sewer section isn't that long. Once we get through the sewer at death, we find out Richard Felton has actually been Jennifer this whole time. Watch this creepy scene.
Same. Jennifer? Jennifer? Richardine Felton. Split personality? Unhealthy upbringing by deceased father.
I was a disappointment to him. A wimp.
Further through exams, they would have understood. Now I understand why he was obsessed with his growing daughter, and why he started calling her Jennifer. She was everything his father never wanted him to be. Jennifer.
Now we need to try and escape as Jennifer chases us around with a nail gun. We just need to close 3 valves and we make our escape. We just run from the psychopath, and at one point we block the door of the bookshelf, and Jennifer will keep bumping into the door, knocking down a key. We can use this to escape the basement of horrors. We sneak our way back to the elevator, and we try to get away, but the elevator starts to go back down. So, we stall it, and we wait our impending doom.
Oh no, please!
Hello? Anybody here?
Gloria?
Then we hear Gloria, sweet, sweet Gloria. We get to hear her voice, and she tells us to meet us in the back. So, obviously we rush there.
Gloria, please, close the door!
So we tell her what the hell's been happening here. Reed spills the beans about everything, about the details of Jennifer. But the nurse already knows, which I'm kind of confused on why she's confused about it. Because I'm pretty sure it was the same nurse in the movie that was giving him like the treatments and stuff. Then she mixes some type of cocktail of different drugs. Then we start to feel fuzzy, and that bitch. She tells us about her evil plan. We throw the glass, and then she disappears. But she left the red dress. She was the nun this whole time. This is where we're going to get our last 2 collectibles here. So, if you got them the rest of the story, the collector trophy should pop here. We also unlocked the torment trophy there. Now, we need to try to escape. Get the hell out of this nightmare and just cut our ties. However, before we can escape, Jennifer knocks us out. Then we wake up, tied to a chair, and Jennifer on the other side. And the nurse is cutting out Jennifer's tongue, which is disgusting, so I won't show that part. But, you know, I'll show like a little snippet of it. I don't know what you can or cannot show on YouTube, so I don't want to, you know. Don't know it's too much, you know. This is Trophy Horror Fest, but I don't want to creep y'all out or whatever. Anyway, Gloria comes over, and she just starts freaking smacking us around and pimp handling us. Bashes our head off the table, tells us what's what, and then she tells Jennifer to burn the place down with us and her. Yeah, this game's cutscenes are kind of graphic, and it's a little crazy, like what they can get away with. I know this is like a lower budget indie game, and I think it was this guy's first game that he's made. And I know he made the second one, which we'll go over after this game, but for an indie game and being older, this game actually, I'd say it holds up. Like, I still had a fun time playing it. Some of the mechanics, yeah, are a little, they're not outdated, but can be like a little frustrating. But overall, I'd still say it's a good play, especially if you can get it on sale like I did. I think I only paid like $1.99 for this, maybe $2.99. Either way, definitely worth your money. I feel like if you can get $5 per hour out of the game, then that's definitely worth it. We eventually get out of the chair and we throw something at Jennifer, and she gets engulfed in flames, which will unlock our next trophy, Pain. I do feel bad doing this for her, but it's either us or her or the whole damn place at this point. God, dude, this game's crazy. Which unlocks our next trophy, Pain. Then we get ready for our final confrontation with our former sister, which, this girl goes crazy. She ends up cutting out her own eyes and completely loses it. But we'll go through this area, we'll stab her, we'll throw diversion. It's kind of like a little boss fight, I guess. You just want to kind of like distract her and move on from part to part. If you make too much noise, she'll find out where you are. It's pretty interesting for this game because you're like actually like fighting someone instead of like running away. Eventually, after we get to a certain part, we'll turn on the lights, which I guess heightens her senses because she can smell us now and listen to us breathe because she's got supernatural hearing now that she is missing her eyes. She'll tackle us through the window, then we reconcile, and we get our last trophy, forgiveness. Honestly, like I said, this game was pretty good. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. The gameplay was fun, the story was interesting, and overall, I recommend this game. And like I said, I only got it for like $1 or $3, so I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. Now we'll go over to Broken Porcelain. Now we take on Brooklyn Porcelain, which actually does have a platinum trophy. Thank the Lord. We start this game in a weird laundry hall type of area, basement, question mark. I'm not sure where the hell we are, but we do have a cool nail gun. And then a large looking weirdo comes out of the vent, and we do what any normal person does, we shoot him. And we earn our first trophy, strike 1 out of 34. Yeah, this game has a lot more trophies from the first game. Well, I shot him here in my first playthrough. I forgot this was the playthrough where I was going for the time limit trophy, so yeah, sorry about that. But I did shoot him with a nail gun, and I did get the first trophy here. Well, looks like we couldn't get away from this freak of nature, and he ends us. But turns out, it was all but a dream. We're playing as Jennifer, and we're getting some lecture from some old man. Then, after we get the lecture, we're good to go to clean some rooms. Then this old grandma is giving us the tea about Mr. Ashman, the guy who was lecturing us earlier.
Something to do with it?
Shh! Lower your voice! You'll get us thrown out of here. It seems that Mr. Ashman had the bad habit of touching his little sister.
What did he say?
Once we got the tea, it's time to settle down, and in the mirror, we see that freak, and then we get jump scared by a girl who we're mad at. We don't want to talk to him. She tries to charm us with that stutter.
Open the fucking door! Door!
We just go full dick mode and make fun of that stutter. Anyhow, after we kick her out, it's time to explore the mansion. But the doors are locked, but we see the tea spiller and follow her, and she's serving dinner to a vent. We go investigate, and what the hell is this? It's a bird? What in the shit? What in the... Now the tea lady is giving us the crazy eyes. Also, the bug eyes are disgusting. Now, there is kind of a grindy trophy where we need to get 50 backstabs of an enemy. We also get one for doing it for the first time, and another trophy for defending ourselves against an enemy with a defense weapon. So you just got to be near death state for this one to occur, and you can use it for defense. Also, if you end up knocking her out for a while, it earns another trophy, Hasta la Vista. This one took me so much longer because I didn't realize the backstabs were different from defending yourself. For the 50 backstabs, you literally have to do it the backside. You cannot, it won't count if you're doing it as like a defense. And I didn't realize this, so I was just like, oh, I'll just keep doing this and that'll count as one. And no, that's not how it worked, man. It was so frustrating. Oh, it's a lot. Also, though, if you do die 5 times, you get another trophy for sucking at the game. So let's pop these trophies. Let's go over some of these trophies that you're going to need for this game. So, there's a trophy for beating the game without dying. There's beating the game without saving. There's beating the game watching all the cutscenes and not skipping any of them. You also have to beat the game in under 5 hours. Find all the collectibles. And there's like 88 collectibles, I believe. You need to see both different endings, which aren't really that different, but they're 2 different cutscenes. You need to max out all of your abilities. Brother, there's a lot you need to do in this game. Honestly, though, it's not so bad, because if you know what you're doing, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I'd say maybe it's like a 3 out of 10. Yeah, if you're bad at these kind of games, maybe a 4. If you're used to this style, a 2. Like, it's not overly hard. But just something to keep note.
Seen who lurks inside.
Honestly, it's not too bad. I would say it does get frustrating at parts because sometimes the game will like, glitch out on you or bug out on you, but it does autosave, and the autosaves don't count towards like the no saving trophy. There's like specific spots in the games that are called hypnosis spots that you can save at. As long as you don't use those, you're good, so you can reload and autosave. But just know this game is so buggy, and it will crash on you. And then in Chapter 2, it's so frustrating because you have 3 different enemies around you. And dude, I got just stun locked into a corner, and we'll go over that when we get to Chapter 2. But man, I was upset. Let's go back over some Chapter 1 stuff. Alright, I know we said we were going to get Chapter 1, but just before I do, I mean, honestly, if you do your second playthrough and you skip all the cutscenes, or if you want to like separate all the trophies, I was trying to do it all in one run. But if you do skip like all the cutscenes, you could probably finish this game in an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So I'm going to go over like some story stuff and the trophies. I'll post a guide in the description for the video that I used. If you boys want to get all the trophies in like one series. It is a fun game, and I think it's definitely worth a playthrough, especially if you get it on sale like I did. I do wish they were doing a third game, though, because I would have loved to see where they take this, because at the end, it just gets so crazy. Oh, anyway, sorry, ADD, I got distracted. Let's get back into it. Honestly, Chapter 1 isn't too long. You solve a few puzzles, you enter some rooms, and then we have to knock out the tea lady for her keys. It's not bad. It's pretty much kind of like the first game. You know, you're constantly going to have an enemy going through the things. You're going to have to go through different areas and solve, like, different puzzles. I'd say the puzzles aren't overly hard in the first chapter. They're all pretty self-explanatory. Like, they don't really throw a challenge at you. But once we knock out the tea lady, we get her keys, we go through a door, and Chapter 1's pretty much over. Honestly, you can knock this chapter out super quick. Then once we get the keys, we go through the door, and of course, we get a nice jump scare. Chapter 1, Regression. Done. And then Chapter 2 opens up with our character from the first game. Hell yeah, dude. Look how much better she looks. Oh, hell yeah. They did my girl justice. I'm so happy. She was such a badass in the first one. I'm so happy we get to see her, like, redefined. And, ugh. Except for she's interviewing some creepy burn victim.
Do you remember me?
They brought you.
Then we switch back to playing Jennifer, and this is when we're told as a player that we're actually Celeste Felton.
Run.
Bro, what a wild card to find out now. This game's story is honestly, like, so crazy. Like, just the fact that in the first game, you're looking for Celeste Felton, and now we're playing as Celeste Felton. I'm having a hard time talking. We go to Ashman's office to answer the phone, but of course as soon as we get there, they hang up, and then we hear our mother's voice telling Ashman to leave her alone. Interesting. Then, of course, we start snooping around, and Mr. Ashman shows up with a gun and threatens to kill us. Thankfully, there's a fire extinguisher in the middle of the room that we can use to combat the gun. We use a white cream to blind his eyes, and obviously, we got this taken care of. Oh, he knocks us out, and we wake up tied in the freezer. Sounds like my Friday night, am I right, fellas? Then we get these 2 goofy goobers mouthing off to us. Ashman saying he fucked our mom, and the tea lady just giggling and being annoying as hell. Ugh. Thankfully, they leave us alone after a while. Then we hear a voice that lets us know we have moth powers now. So, interesting mechanic in this game, we can now summon moths to do our bidding. And we actually are flying around as the moth. The moth is going to help mess around with, like, startle the enemies, or it's going to open up the door for us in this room. It's also going to help with getting a lot of the snow globe collectibles. As I mentioned earlier, Chapter 2 is probably where you have the most chance to die. Like, dude, look at this clip. I was trying to hide from them, and next thing I know, he somehow spots me from behind the door. And not only is it just him, but there's 2 other enemies right there with him. I get hit through the door, and there's just no escape. I am just locked in here. My node die run into here, man, and it was depressing. But now I can just focus on getting collectibles this run. Honestly, I think it was better to do it this way, because then I wasn't worrying about rushing, so I was going to try to do the 5 hours in one thing, not dying, and I was just going to try to get it all in one run. But now I could, like, okay, I could actually look for the collectibles while I was, because the guide that I was looking at for collectibles was in German, so I actually had to, like, pay attention because he wasn't talking. But Yeah, man. I'll put that guide and the guide that I used for Remothered Tormented Fathers. I'll put them both in the description of the title. So if you guys wanted to go for the platinum, you'd have two resources there. So unfortunately, the dog is on our way. So we use the moth to startle him. I'm not going to show what happens to the dog because it's very brutal. But just know he's in a better place now. We have to do that with the dog because if you get too close to the door, the dog's not going to let you through because he's a guard dog. Obviously, he'll bark, it'll alert the enemies. So once the dog is in the better place, we go through the door. However, there's still a bell that alerts them that they're here. One fatal mistake. There's a freaking bell. Well, it's okay. We're just going to run. They're too slow to catch me anyway, man. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. The red nun's in this game too. And she's got a freaking blowtorch this time? What the hell? Now this part made me quit the game for a little bit, and I took like a 2-3 week break from it because you get the moth power like I mentioned before, and the moth is like so sensitive that if you hit something, you lose it instantly. Like it just dies, or if you're doing it too long, it dies. However, for this part, you need the moth to do a whole bunch of tasks, and you just keep playing as the moth. You'll turn on the jukebox like I just did. Then you're going to go get some keys for this girl. And then you're going to tell her where to hide. And then after that, I just didn't know what to do. And I'm sitting here looking around. And I'm like, brother, what am I supposed to do? Because the game's not telling me what to do. So then I'm trying to interact with the jukebox again. And I'm just like, what the heck? I was crashing into things. I was like, dude, this just has to end. Why won't the moth part end? And you just have to follow like all the things. But because the game has so many glitches in it, I thought I was just stuck in moth mode this whole entire time. And that's why I ended up quitting. Because I'm like, you know what? If this is how the game wants to be, I'm just going to take a break from it. It was just the one thing I had to do after I did all those tasks of getting the keys, finding a lock, is I was supposed to startle the nun when she went through the door. Because the bell sounds off. And then in order for the nun not to attack her, you need to use the moth to stun her. And I was like, dude, if I would have just kept looking at the guide instead of just trying to figure it out for myself, I wouldn't have quit this game, and I would have had this game done so much longer. I was just, dude, so frustrated. And of course, if you let her out there, the girl dies and, restarts. But yeah, dude, I was like, ugh. I've been playing a lot of games, trying to crank all this out, but dude, that part right there, I was just so frustrated. Like I said, I stopped playing the game for 2 or 3 weeks. I honestly thought it was just so bugged, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing this game anymore. Anyway, now that she's out and safe, we sneak up past them. Jesus. Anyway, now that she's safe, we have to go sneak past the nun and go meet our friend. Then when we do, she says we need to break the loop they're all under, because when it starts playing, they all lose control, they do things against their will. Well, she starts getting back in the loop and her eyes are bleeding.
Nope.
Yeah, I think that's her cue to get on out of here. So we use the rope to drop us down, and of course, once we look down, who's there shown as ugly mug? Porcelain. And then chapter 2 is finished and unlocks the story trophy. Then we have a flashback of the earlier days when we first got here and discuss our dreams with the girl who stutters. We play a sweet game of basketball with her, and we need to win and lose at this game to earn 2 trophies. One for winning and one for losing. But let me tell you, the aiming is so fucking bad, and I don't know when you're supposed to release the basketball, if it matters or not if you release it, does it matter where you're aiming it? All I know is that there's an autosave right before this part, and I had to reset this at least, 12, 30 times. But I did get lucky, and she missed all of her shots when I made 2 out of 3 of mine. So we earned the trophy Nerd and Abdul Jabbar. Who? I do gotta say, I do love the name of that trophy. Come here, Jar. Who? Anyway. Hey guys, does this area look familiar? It should. It's where we started the game. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there's a total of 78 collectibles in this game, from documents, milk cartons, pictures, snow globes. Like, it's a lot to do in one playthrough, and without dying, and without saving. Also, to do this in under 5 hours without skipping any cutscenes, you boys already know how to do a second playthrough. because when I died, and I accidentally skipped over one cutscene. I was so sad, dude. I was like, why did I do that? And I guess I didn't even think to reload it because I'm an idiot. So anyway, let's get through the rest of our playthrough in Chapter 3. We need to destroy the loop. We find the radio signal and we try to destroy it. For good old Porcelain comes back with a vengeance. Doesn't he just look like a certified badass? Now, we need to use the generators in the area to hurt him. Once we do the golden rule of video games and hurt him 3 times, he disappears. We go back and we ask for help on the microphone. We destroy the loop for good. We did good today, boys. We did good. Lynn comes bursting through the door and unlocks our next story trophy, Nobody's Daughter. Then we get another flashback with Lynn. We play her a movie. We give her a flower. We dance. We kiss. We steal a gun. We sit on our lap and play the piano. Love is grand. Now back to the current time. We're back with Lynn and she ends up getting attacked by the other girl whose name I can't remember. But this part was also so frustrating. Not only do you have to wait 10 years to gain your moth powers, you also need to dodge Porcelain long enough to get your crappy moth powers, then use the moth to go through the vent to get to the other side. Honestly, I think the moth parts of this game are the worst part. I like the concept, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't work how you want it to, and it really just takes me out of the game. And also just to I know I mentioned this in chapter 2 about this is why I honestly thought I was stuck in moth mode in chapter 2. Because you look at that, I didn't touch anything and it just ended. You hit a corner too hard, it ends. But in chapter 2, for whatever reason, I could literally run into a wall, nothing happened. But this, I graze against something, which I don't even think I'm grazing, and I lose it. If I go too slow or too fast, I lose it. It's like, what did I hit there? What did I hit? Whatever, let's just continue on. Now after using our moth powers to take her down, which I don't know how the moth even did that much damage, we're in the garage with Lynn. Feel like a champion. But of course, it doesn't end here. Now we have a boss fight with Porcelain. We need to shoot the lights to get the moths away from him that are protecting him. We can shoot him with the nail gun when we hit the light. I guess this is a prime way to die as well in your run, as you can definitely outrun him, but it does not take much to kill you, honestly. Maybe 3 hits. It's good to have some defense weapons with you just in case, but it is a battle, and you got to do, of course, in 3 times. You have 3 different sections of this. It's just, I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong, I do like the game. I honestly do think you guys should play it, because I think it's worth a play. There's just some parts where it's just so frustrating, man. So frustrating. Anyway, we get this done, and we drive off the car with Lynn. Lynn's freaking out because she said they won't let us leave no matter what. And then, of course, as soon as she says that, a freaking sword goes through the windshield, and she gets taken from the car, which unlocks our next story trophy, Fracture. Then we go back into another flashback, and we see Lynn accidentally shot Celeste in the hand, and that's why she's wearing the cast at the beginning of the game. Then we go back to play as my girl Rosemary, and she's still with Wyman, but Wyman pulls out a gun, and the screen goes black. And now we're in a wheelchair? Bro, this game is wild. We speed race our way into the door and manage to escape the chair, and we're free to move around. We get our tape recorder, record Wyman's voice, and unlock the safe. And now it's time to take him down. Dude, look how sexy Rosemary is walking. Oh wait, she's looking like Porcelain now. Oh wait, is she taking over Porcelain now? Oh, shit's going down. Honestly, this is a really cool scene. And after we finish this, it does unlock our next story trophy, The Other Jennifers. Then we start back off as Jennifer or Celeste, whatever you want to call her at this point, who knows. We're confronted by the Red Nun, and she's telling us to leave and forget everything, but we can't leave without our loved Lynn. So guess what we get to do? Another boss fight. That's right, we fight the Red Nun, and the only way to damage her is for her to get close enough to use her attack. She uses a blowtorch, which causes the moss to disperse because the moss are protecting her from being damaged. So we need to use the fire to scare them away. As the trophy gave away, the Red Nun was Lynn in disguise. But she's being a part of the loop and her brain is being brainwashed. Also, that trophy was for knocking out every single one of the enemies that we could knock out at this point. Just wanted to pop the trophy now before I forgot. And now the real boss fight happens. So, Lynn still has the she has her nail gun. We have to knock her out while we distract the Red Nun from controlling her. Then eventually we knock out Lynn to get our nail gun back, and then we just keep shooting the Red Nun over and over again. However, we don't get to celebrate ending the Red Nun's regime just yet because we lose consciousness, and guess who's behind us? Good old Porcelain. Man, we can't catch a break. We wake up, and now we are in the loop. We can't remember Lynn or anything, but then we see her violin, and it all comes back to us. We go back to the basement, and we see her trapped, and we need to break the hypnosis. The only way to do that is to play her favorite movie, and once we do that, it breaks the trance, and she destroys it, and then we have the final confrontation. The final confrontation, the final powwow, whatever you want to call it. Gloria's here, Ashman's here, the tea lady's here, and she's mad because she's been in this loop this whole time, but Ashman won't let her go down. God dang, he takes her out. But then Ashland's sister remembers what he did to her, and then she uses the moss to rip his face apart. Then she tries to murder us, but Lynn's bond is stronger with Porcelain now. And now we get to play as Porcelain and hunt her down. Honestly, I thought this was a pretty cool part, because we've been running from him pretty much the whole game, and now we get to play as him. And we just gotta keep finding Gloria through different rooms, and after we find her like 3 or 4 times, she ends up going to Ashman's office, and then Jennifer tells Lynn not to kill her, but Gloria says she's gonna kill Celeste's parents and make sure they suffer. The screen fades to black, unlocking the next story trophy, Collective Consciousness. And if you got all the collectibles at this point, the trophy will pop here. So I'm just going to pop this trophy as well. This house is like a museum. Then we go back to the future to play as Rosemary, asking all the important questions to Lyman. Now you have a choice to either shoot him or spare him. You'll need to pick both options for another trophy, Double Crosser. Then Rosemary takes off her blonde wig and we see she has short black hair. Huh. Also, after seeing this last cutscene, we get a trophy for seeing all of them, beating the game in under 5 hours, do a playthrough without dying, and complete the game without saving. Then we go back to the past and we make a promise at the train station. Lynn's going off to enjoy her new music career, and Celeste says she's going to go see her parents. Now I know what you're thinking. We beat the game, and we're still missing a buttload of trophies. We still need to max out every single one of our skills, each skill individually, max them all out, and block an enemy from a door to get the rest of the trophies. Whew. Let's go over that part now. I know what you're saying. Trophy, you haven't mentioned anything about skills. That's because it doesn't really matter. You can get through this game without upgrading any skills, and you still won't die. But it's a good thing to pick them up during your playthrough. But all you're going to do is sit here, you're going to max them all out. Definitely do the barrier one because you need the barrier one, and I did the luck just in case if it increases your odds of getting a moth key when you block a door. Yeah, I just popped the platinum there, just because I'm not going to do 15 trophies just to freaking each skill, because there's like 8 different skills that you need to upgrade, then upgrading all of them. It's like 10-12 trophies just for that. I was struggling with this at first because I didn't understand what you were supposed to do on how to block your door, because it doesn't give you a tutorial or anything. But you want to get on the other side of the door, and then you get up to the door and you push square to hold it so he can't get through. And of course, Porcelain's being an idiot and he's not coming for us. So I'm like sitting here being like, dude, what the heck is he doing? Like, I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I was just struggling. But there you go, we block the door, push square, look, and we get a moth key. And you can literally just keep farming this whole area. And it's so easy because there's 2 doors right there. he'll constantly, well, he's supposed to be constantly like running back and forth to you. I don't know what was going on with his AI during this, because it's not like I was too far away from him where he wouldn't register where I was. I was literally busting through doors and stuff. But yeah, it's just as easy as that, man. To get all your skills upgraded, just chapter 3, there's a little box right there. Just do that, and see, like, even when I blocked it there, he like went through the door. So I know there's probably like a better, someone could show you like a crazier method to do it. I was just having like really bad luck when I was doing it, but that's how you do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the whole Remothered series. I know it's a longer video covering 2 games, but I felt like doing separate videos was just kind of pointless, because the first game, it doesn't even have a platinum anyway. So we just decided to cover the whole Remothered series in one video. I hope you are enjoying the Trophy Horror Fest. I love you guys, and I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.